see. Anything we need to do on weekly routine here?
Just the feature health for 110. We have 25 P0s and only 4 are completed at this point. The feature freeze is next week, so I just wanted a reminder. Which is 16% P0s and 6% P1 are completed, and we are very close to the feature freeze.
Sorry, these are P0 features, not tests or bugs, or
No,
what are they?
No, they are features, not test or bugs yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to know what features aren't going to make the cut.
So if you click on that feature health, Swain.
Yep.
So this is how the status looks like. The white ones are the ones where we do not know the status. The green are still on track to make up. Yellow and reds are, I don't know, like reds is literally not going to happen. I think yellow, probably there is a mitigation plans. And the priority is given at the end of the feature name.
So at least we don't have any P0s in red. That's good.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
yeah, I think we only expect P0s to be done. Everything else is best effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this looks good.
There's a bunch of P0s in risk state.
I see, yeah. No. I mean, none of these are regressions, and just, Istio gets better every release, but we don't do everything we want to every release. That's okay.
Yeah.
So the authentication, authorization, policy, and security, how important is that? Both are P0s and are in yellow.
I don't know what those are.
Yeah, I was going to ask the same thing.
I think it was supposed to be promoting them to stable.
Okay.
Yeah, I think what Josh said, right? It's fine. Things take longer than we expect. As long as, like, we don't want to try to rush stuff in, so I'd much rather things miss and get promoted to stable the following release than rush to say something is stable that isn't. Okay.
Yeah, and that red is glaring red. I can't really read. So good job on that.
I'll change the color next time, Neeraj.
It's all right.
I feel the GA promotion should be like a P1, but probably needs more discussion, I guess.
At this point, it doesn't really matter, probably, right?
Yeah, this was Youngman just to give a high-level view because we are getting close to the cut. I just wanted to give the high-level view, just the visibility. And sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, nothing. Go ahead.
Okay, and the docs test cases are out for review for the first community testing day, which is approaching very close, 13th April. And the good news is we, as you know, most of the automation was done in the last cycle. Only 12 P0s are left at this point. The only caveat is what we have not done. If there is any new feature, those have not been added here. Other than that, from the last one, only 12 P0s are left for automation for P0s.
Should we ask the working groups to each take up getting at least one more of those done for? So is this improvements during this release, or is the 12 were left as of last release, as of 1.9?
Yeah, 12 are left as of last release.
Okay, so we should try to, continual improvement. We should try to make that number get smaller for each release, right?
Yeah, that will be great because last time we went up to 83 or 86%, I can't recall, but that was a great number, right? More and more we do automation, we will be close to no manual testing eventually.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and for 110, the timeline is out. So the launch is on 10th August, if we can review that, if we have time now.
Sure. 111, yeah.
111, yeah.
Yes. We're nearing the final chance to decide that 110 is actually 2.0 because you just roamed.
When do we want to go to 2.0 actually?
Never.
Yeah, let's not open that can of worms.
That was a joke. That was a joke. Sorry. Bit late. All right. So these are our dates.
Yeah.
Feature freeze July 7th could be worrisome with July 4th holiday right before it.
Yeah, so I checked 4th and 5th are offs. So 6th is the middle, and then 7th is what I was thinking as a feature freeze.
Are we aligning this with any of those KubeCons, EU virtual events, or we have given up on that?
Last
think
I
we've
checked,
given up on
normally
that.
that's
All
I
right.
couldn't find much information. Sorry.
Yeah, there's no events in July, August for Q
Yeah.
anyway.
Okay.
I think we're not creating enough like whiz bang new features that we need to be doing that anymore. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So I think that's the only thing that jumps out to me is the worry about the July 4th holiday.
Okay, I'll move it by a day or so, Swain. Okay. So we are good with 10th August. Any concerns there?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Fine by me.
Awesome. Josh, Lynn.
Sounds good.
Yes, I like those dates. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So I will be discussing the presentation dates with the working group leads because when they will be presenting, I will not be there. I will be on vacation 2 weeks, but I'll add the future dates in the TOC agenda so that way it's organized and we can run the meetings.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. New site layout. Who wants to talk about that? What did we leave open from the last time we talked about this?
I was going to say that I think Craig was going to do a couple of things, and I believe that those were all completed. And as far as I know, the PR is merged. And if you go to preliminaryistio.io, it's all using the new stuff. And please take a look at it and write up issues for problems people see.
Cool. Okay. Why this is not linking for me. There it goes. Shweta, open working group lead positions. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Discussion. So yeah, so we had talked about this 2 weeks ago about potentially merging or getting rid of environments and merging its responsibilities into other working groups. And there was a proposal here. So anyone want to take a first crack at it? Pros, cons?
So I see here a bunch of these things say keep in environments. What does that mean if the environment working group is gone?
Oh, I think actually this is where we ended up. Upgrade working group goes back into environments. So merge upgrade working group back into environments. Yeah, not get rid of environments.
So the net result then is we're basically back to where we were a month ago with minor changes, but in terms of number of working groups, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
In that case, it might be useful to reconsider the name and charter of the environments working group. It sounds like they would be scoped mostly to upgrade and install.
Yep.
That's what it looks like. Yeah. And I'm guessing because of this remerge, we need to iron out the leads. And given that we have less participation already, I don't think that should be an issue. It looks like we have more leads than participants in these two working groups now, or the merged working group. Is that correct?
Neeraj, you're talking about networking and environments there?
No, I'm talking about the upgrade working group, which has 2 leads, I think, but 3 or 4 participants mostly, and then
I think
environments
the upgrade
also.
working group never officially chose leads.
Okay. I think it was approved, maybe, but or was the charter approved? I don't remember now.
The charter was approved, but we hadn't formally picked leads, but unofficially, Sam and I were like leading the meetings.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with merging it. All the working group leads should just power together and figure out how they want to handle it.
What is the what's the purview of the UX working group? Because in my mind, the installers seem like it would belong there.
That's a great question. Right now, the scope of the UX working group encompasses all of troubleshooting Istio, as well as the command line tools. I'm going to think of other things that we are working on. Cross-cutting API improvements. Oh, and the client tools, the Istio client tools. Or sorry, not Istio client tools. What is it called? The Golang client for Istio.
So given that the command line tools are in your scope, would it make sense for installers to be there as well?
There's a lot to it though beyond just the command line tool. A lot to installers.
Besides, I mean, we are no longer, I mean, Helm is not a command tool that we maintain. I mean, it's basically the templates and the install and operations actually that are interesting.
Yeah, I think the scope of install upgrade is beyond just the user experience part of it, but there's definitely overlap on that part.
One alternative, I mean, I think install and upgrade is kind of narrow scope. I mean, operations is really the interesting part here. I mean, I would say, you know, everything related with how you do config changes, how you push, manage.
So
lifecycle management. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, so mesh config, like external control plane would still be owned by environment, and on the new one, upgrade work group.
Yes, I think that's right. I don't know.
It sounds right. It feels like we have a lifecycle management group.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Let's just call it that.
I mean, I do kind of like what Cosm was saying, that it's about operations, because we focus a lot on the day one, but the day two is way more important. And there's a lot of overlap with user experience when we get into that, because operations and user experience are pretty similar when we get down to it. So I think maybe we can actually consolidate those two further if we wanted to. I think that's kind of what Nate was pushing for, perhaps.
Yeah, +1 to that.
No, do we see both of the work group not having enough people attend?
I'm pretty sure operations would be well attended if we had such a...
Right. I'm just saying, for now, if upgrade and user experience only have like a few users, a few of us attend like 3 or 4, maybe that would argue the case for merging, right? Because I do think our networking work group is probably the most well attended, if you guys agree, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I was kind of thinking to move environments to networking, because it's well attended and it's mostly operations are discussed there as well. So
the reason for the existence of the upgrade working group was that a month ago we felt like this was an important enough thing for the project that we needed a dedicated set of people focusing on this with a dedicated charter. I can see merging it with installation. Merging it with UX, I worry about dilution of charter and of focus.
But last week, the meetings for install upgrades were pretty much empty or skipped or.
But I think my preference would be to start with trying move some stuff out of environments and then re-merge in, upgrade, and rebrand environments, but not do UX as well.
I'm with Sven on that.
Revisit in the future.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree. Let's try that first and see if we can have good attendance and good participation.
So, Costin, I'm a little hesitant about operations because operations does involve a lot of debugging, which will now go into the Istio CTL and the UX working group. I would like to keep it something like lifecycle to start with, and once we merge everything, call it operations.
How do you define lifecycle? Because we typically focus on install and upgrade, and we ignore everything in between. So that's why I call operations. I mean, it's not necessarily debugging. It's how do you make a config change safely?
That's lifecycle management, right?
Is it lifecycle? I'm not familiar with the term lifecycle. I'm not using it very often.
In terms of what changes, if you're talking about, the Istio CRDs, that has traditionally fallen under the purview of UX. That's something that we've worked on.
Not CRDs, but actually, how do you operate? I mean, what if an alert happens, in Stackdriver, you go and do some stuff and modify what to watch. I mean, the whole typical SRE stuff. I mean, what SREs typically do in their product.
Sort of like owning the run book for Istio, maybe?
I don't know. For example, mesh config changes right now are typically done with the installer, but we're trying to move away to allow people to change debug without rerunning the installer. I don't
know. I think we kind of have agreement on what we want to do, right? Which is what Sven is talking about. Naming is hard anyways. Let's pick a name and move ahead. We can change names many times. We're not going to come up with the perfect name in this meeting, I think.
I mean, we can ask that group to take that as their first action, right? Is come up with the name, come up with a proposed name and charter.
There you go. Define yourself. Yep.
Jacob and Sam, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. I think it makes a lot of sense. I don't think we've had huge attendance, and a lot of the people are the same between upgrade and environments. So,
who are the current environments working group leads?
I think I'm the only one left, but if we merge back, then we are again 3, so perfect.
Okay, I was going to ask if you're okay with that. Okay. Okay, so let's do that. Sounds good. And then you guys come back with a name and charter.
I think we can keep the current name and just patch the charter to include more operations and make it more explicit.
I think operations is better than environments. And
I agree, but it's controversial, and status quo is not controversial. So,
well, so please try and debate the name and come up with a proposal. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not just...
Exactly. You have 2 more folks to talk to, Costin. So let's do that.
Okay, feature freeze for 110. We sort of already talked about that. Sam, did you have other things you wanted to mention here?
nope. I think Shweta pretty much covered it. Just kind of putting a reminder out there for people working on features.
I just wanted to check what is the laid out exception process for feature freeze? Do we have one?
I was going to ask what feature freeze actually means. What is the definition of our feature freeze?
My understanding is that actually maybe someone else is more qualified to answer, but we cut the branch and then pretty much anything that goes in is just bug fixes after that, right?
That's right. Sometimes people will have late requests. It's more, and feel guilty about it. But there is pushback, and we start looking at the blast radius of of late feature arrivals, and then there's also community testing, and anything that arrives after community testing, we should really say no to.
What is our exception process?
I don't think there is one formally defined.
You have to buy the release managers a beer.
I thought we did define one.
I think it goes to the release managers, and release managers can bring it up to the TOC. That's roughly what I have seen being followed. I don't know if it's written.
At least for 1.6 and for 1.9, it's been informal. If there were any changes to Istio API, then we brought them forward to the TOC. But anything that wasn't kind of related to that, we at least for 1.6 and 1.9, we tended to rely on the subject matter experts or the working group leads to provide kind of their input. And then depending on the amount of code maybe that was introduced, if it was 50 lines, 80 lines, not a big deal. But if it was a big PR, then yeah, there was a little bit more hesitancy in that regard. But nothing is formalized.
So should we formalize it? Maybe is the question then. Should we write this down somewhere and write down the current process and then just follow it?
Yeah, I think what Jacob just said makes sense to me. Let's write it down.
That okay with you, Lynn and Josh?
Yep.
Yeah, seems good.
Can someone volunteer to take that? Just write up what we're currently doing.
Sure, I can do that.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Jacob.
there are a couple of kind of in-flight things which I'm sort of informing right now that people can expect. Yeah, like telemetry API and related things, and then potentially the WASM API and related things are potentially going to come in just a little bit late, and they will have to go through this process. So we'll see what actually happens.
That sounds fine. Okay, Mitch, you want to cover the?
Yeah.
When
So we
Let's
spent
do
a
that.
ton of time in 1.9 investing in smoothing out our upgrades, and it's time to collect some feedback from our users on how we did. The timing of this survey is pretty balanced between we'd like to hear from our users in time to make a life cycle decision about 1.8. For instance, if it's still very hard to upgrade to 1.9, we might want to extend the life cycle of the 1.8 release. But also we wanted to delay it long enough that we had a substantial number of users who would have gotten some experience with Istio 1.9. We know that uptake on new releases is not always the fastest. So that's why the goal is to send this out either later today or early on Monday. And you all asked to see the final draft before it went out. So this is what I've got. The survey is much briefer than previous surveys that we've done. Because it is a follow-up survey and focused only on the 1.9 release, the scope is fairly limited. And the goal is that users should be able to fill it out in just a little bit more than 60 seconds.
Yeah, that looks good to me. Okay.
So this is great. I guess I would just say, probably not many users are upgraded to 1.9 yet, because this is very specific to 1.9. I do know that we are working on teach people how to upgrade to 1.9 using revision in our Istio workshop by Solo. Most of our users are not close to upgrade to 1.9. I just want to warn you, probably not getting a lot of response because of where people are today.
Yeah, that is expected. I would expect on the order of a dozen responses.
So
is
actually,
there a
okay. Yeah, like
what do we
following
want
on.
to do? Right. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mandar.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, following up on Lynn's point, that it means that this survey should be repeated. The exact same survey should be repeated when there is more 1.9 data, and conversely, it means that the 1.8 survey, if it was there, like maybe now is the time to get that data if we expect good response.
I was going to ask if we should have a link to the 1.8 survey from the 1.9 survey saying, hey, if you haven't updated to 1.9 yet, but you recently did 1.8, here's the survey for that.
So we didn't have a survey dedicated to 1.8. In the 1.7 time frame, we did release a survey, but it was not specific to 1.7. It covered all prior versions of Istio. The idea was that sending something out more than once every 6 months might be a little bit frustrating for our users.
Yeah, I guess the point Amanda and Savannah are trying to raise is it valuable for us to provide a survey, and then within that survey we ask a user, which version are they most recently upgrade, so we could potentially collect a little bit more information than 1.9.
Do we have a place in our documentation that we could put a link to the 1.9 upgrade after they complete a 1.9 upgrade, like the 1.9 upgrade survey? Could we link to this from there? So rather than doing a blast, have something that says, hey, congratulations, you finished the upgrade. Please take this survey to tell us how it went.
That's a great idea.
I would think the upgrade notes might be a good place for that. I'm not sure how many people read those on the other hand.
Yeah, I don't know how people read those either. You can put it in multiple places, right? You don't have to only put it in one.
Yeah.
But it might
it could be a part. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Jacob.
It could be a part of Istio CTL or even Helm. Like Helm has when it's done, print out a happy message kind of a thing. Like those are other options.
Yeah. Because that would be, I think that would be very useful. We had something similar on an internal project like 5 years ago that was really helpful. That I think it was basically that, like the tool. There was a tool to do, actually it was installed and upgrades, but there was a tool at the end that said, "How was your experience? Take the survey."
Okay, so I'll take that as an action item moving forward. I can't change Istio Cuddle now for 1.9. But moving forward, it sounds like it'd be a good idea for us to have kind of a standing survey for each version after upgrading that the users can very quickly indicate how things went. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
So Mitch, I would recommend, even if you can't say Istio CTL, to do some of the doc changes, whether it's in upgrade notes or the 1.9 blog, to have a link to the survey. And overall, it looks like we are saying that if you do a blast radius for this survey, we might not get a lot of responses. We are going to live with it for now. It's okay if we don't. We will just have to either repeat it with 1.10, or in 1.10 we'll probably have a standing survey for 1.10. And right?
Yeah. Like I was thinking right here, like they finished verifying their upgrade right here, say, hey, here's a survey to take. Because I think if people bang their head against things a lot and then they see a survey, they're likely to take the survey to kick us around a little bit, and that's good, right? We want to get that feedback if they had a hard time, or if they had a great time, then maybe they can tell us it was great. But that's let's do that.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
But overall, the questions are good, Mitch, and I like that the survey is short. We make them longer and longer, and we're going to get less participants.
Thanks. Yeah, and actually the last question does ask users for their contact information if they're interested in providing longer form feedback in the form of an interview. In the fall, the UX working group conducted these with about 6 or so users and found them to be very valuable. So if they're interested in providing that longer form feedback, there is a way for them to do that.
Cool. Sounds excellent. Anything else people want to add to TSC agenda? We have 27 minutes left. We can also end early.
Looks like today is the lucky day, Sven.
I know, it's crazy. Sometimes we go like hour 15, half an hour.
Oh, by the way,
Maybe.
just a reminder. Sorry.
No.
No. I don't want to discuss anything here because it's related to a CVE. I just want to give a reminder to the TOC that I sent invitation for you to review an API design regarding to a CVE. Please let's address the comments and get approval without a meeting. Let's try to do that. If not, we'll meet maybe on Monday. I will ping each of you for a time. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Oliver. We have 20 minutes now to do it.
You don't need to do it like right now, but yeah. Anytime
right.
before, yeah.
Let's call it. Ending
All
early.
right.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Yeah,
Thanks,
happy
folks. Bye.
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 Bye.